we're selling, it's, they couldn't close it. They went there today and they couldn't close it, so he had to go.
They couldn't close the door?
Yeah, it's got one of those smart technology things.
Oh.
So they kept on pressing the lock and it wouldn't lock, so we're like, maybe.
Technology is great when it's good and
yeah.
awful when it's
That's what I tell Randy. I don't like technology that much. I know.
Oh, I'm the same way. I'm like an old person when it comes to technology.
Well, because I thought once you go in and install it and program it and you get done with it, you're done, but you're not.
Updates
No.
and everything.
We, the computer haters, Ashley's in technology.
Oh, you're in technology? Okay.
Yeah, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Pays the bills.
So if there's like a lightning and it hits the building or something, it just messes up the whole technology. We have to go back in there and reset everything, power outage. It's like,
Should invest in some UPSs.
huh?
Should invest in some UPSs.
Yes, and we tell our clients about that. It's just basically equipment that will take the, electrical charge that will go through the building, but not everybody feels that that's as important.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't you want to guarantee your $20,000 investment or
Right.
30? If I do. Okay, I promise I will keep my mouth closed. I tend to talk a lot. You know that, so I will be good.
Well, I figured while everybody's running late, and I knew we were going to have a lot of new faces, so I wanted to give everybody a few seconds to introduce themselves, what they do. We'll start with Jaden.
Hi everybody, I'm Jaden. I am I am somewhat of an amateur investor, self-taught, no lessons or whatever, so I'm here to learn more.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Jaden. Hi, everybody. My name is Nancy Hernandez Johnson. My husband and I own an audio video installation and integration company. And this is like the permanent technology installation in a brick and mortar building. That's both for commercial and residential. And we do everything. I mean, anything and everything out there. We call my husband Never Say No Randy. He doesn't say no. If that were my nickname, it would be bad, but no, it's his. But anyways, it's not that funny, right? We have 2 properties right now, 2 investment properties, and we're actually selling both of them. We have to. And I want to purchase some more because you need to have assets because you never know what's going to happen. You don't want to be caught without enough assets that you can use. You want to have something to rely on. That's better than having nothing. So that is important. So even though I'm selling both properties, I want to buy another one with time, if possible.
Wow.
I like sharing. No. Well, it's important, that's why a lot of people come into real estate. You don't want to be poor. You want to have some money and you want to prepare for retirement. With my family, I have the family type that makes $800 in Social Security a month. That's it. They did not prepare at all. And then I have the other type that they make pretty decent money, everything's paid off, and they've got some money in the bank. That's the one I want to be. So it's what you want to do with your life.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name's Adez and I'm a wholesaler. So I have a question. So
Wait. Who are you? Tell about you doing this. No.
Okay, yeah. So yes, I am a wholesaler and I've been wholesaling on and off for the past 2 years. I like like to wholesale anything. So land, houses. I actually have a piece of land under contract. If anyone's interested, after class. But yes, I've been wholesaling, and I met Anthony actually at like a event, well, downtown at the courthouse. And that's where I met him, and he saw me talking to people, and he plucked me, hi, Des, we should meet, come to the class, and that's how we met. Yes.
Awesome. I've never met a wholesaler. That you sell everything. You sell everything.
So
Interesting.
commercial, residential. I'm a jack. Well, not a jack. I'm a Jill of all trades.
And Jill.
That is awesome.
Ashley?
Hi, I'm Ashley, real estate investor, soon to be millionaire.
Woo!
I just,
like that intro.
Yeah, that's that right attitude.
putting it out in the universe. It's nowhere near, but no, I'm trying.
What do you do?
Oh, I have a W-2 job, but I want to get out of that. So I'm working on real estate investing. I'm currently renovating my current home that we purchased with the intention to turn it into a Dungeons and Dragons themed Airbnb. Still working on that. Thankfully, my husband and grandmother were on board for the ride, so we're doing good.
Who are you?
I'm Sylvia.
Hi, Sylvia.
I'm the controller of Anthony.
Oh, you're the one I communicated
Yes,
with.
that's me, yes.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yes, I work with Anthony. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Anthony also. Good to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you too.
I'm a real estate agent and I'm looking to get into more of the investment side, fix and flips, and then eventually use that to fund my rentals and then just go from there.
You work with Anthony, the same team?
I do not.
No? The
So-
same Keller Williams? Or?
So I used to be here at Keller Williams. Now I'm at LPT. Actually, I know Nancy Rodriguez.
Yeah.
So she's the one who sent me this to come here because I told her I wanted to get involved in fix and flips and investing and things.
So she said she was on her way.
Yeah, I just kind of let her do her thing. When she comes, she comes. It is what it is.
Something about the Nancys.
Right?
We are awesome.
So I'm Anthony. I am a real estate agent. I'm a real estate investor. I use the both of those to kind of channel and fund and help me navigate a lot of the philanthropy and humanitarian stuff that I'm trying to do. Before I got into real estate, I was a McDonald's store manager. I actually worked with Ashley at one of the stores I was a manager at. And since I've been in real estate, I have, by getting outside the box, there's been so many different things as far as real estate investing that I've been able to find and navigate, and I have done very well with my real estate business. It has made me a bunch of money, but my real estate investing is setting up my future family. And one of the things I heard Nancy say, we're selling and we want to buy. I know to some people who don't understand real estate, that may not make sense, but there actually is one of the things about real estate is there's a time to sell and there's a time to buy. And real estate has been something that I'm always actively learning. There's so much stuff that you can continue to learn. I just knew everything when I first started real estate investing, and I was flipping houses and I was making decent money, and then somebody said, that's a rookie move, you should be holding on to your property. And I'm like, you don't know how much I'm making. And then I really sat down and thought about it, and I said, oh, I understand. So I'm holding on to a lot more of the properties. And so part of my strategy is I'm selling, I'm holding, I'm like whatever makes sense. There's different tools for different situations. Everybody's strategy should be dependent on what their end game is. And because my end game is that I want to be ridiculously wealthy. There's a combination of all of those things that are tools that I use, but also because of the fact that I want to be ridiculously wealthy, it's not something that I want to do alone. And so a big part of the class is to create community, create a space where real estate, one of the things that I recognize is there's not a lot of useful knowledge or useful game on real estate investing. It's especially not easy to access, where people will go in depth and really give you legitimate, valuable, useful information. And so I've been trying to, in my journey, all the things that I couldn't find, I'm trying to create. And so a lot of the things that we'll talk about are based on some of my real life learnings, understanding about real estate. I don't really talk real estate theory. Pretty much everything that I am talking about, I've done it myself. Speaking of, we talked about, before I go there, I put 2 quotes on here on the board. So a little bit of the class, originally it was just real estate investing. And then I realized my intent was for people to come in here and not just consume information. It was really about getting into action. And one of the things that we recognized is, I understand that taking action into this space, it requires a lot of mindset shift. And so we have adapted or evolved the class into some mindset and then also real estate investing specifically. But I put these 2 quotes up here. Don't mistake movement for achievement. People come to this class, and people come to the class like, I'm coming to a class to learn about real estate investing. Will that make me wealthy? No. I can come and take all the classes, get all the information. Just because I do that does not mean that I'm going to be rich, right? And a lot of times people get hung up on, I'm doing some of the things, I'm doing the good things that are taking the right. Yes, I'm not talking to you yet. But a lot of times we get hung up on like, hey, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I deserve the results. And just because I'm moving doesn't mean I'm moving correctly. Doesn't mean that I'm doing the right things that are moving the ball. Sometimes we get into activity and we can be going 100 miles per hour, chasing the wrong thing. Now I'm talking to you. And that to me has got to be the most frustrating thing, right? When I'm doing all the work, because it's almost like I could understand if I wasn't doing anything, right? I'm sitting on the couch, I'm not doing anything, I'm not trying. I understand why I don't have results. But I'm going 100 miles an hour, I'm putting all this energy out there, and I'm not getting results. That has got to be the most frustrating thing.
Amen, brother. Yes, it is.
And so, regarding that, a lot of times it's good to be able to be around people who are like-minded, who are thinking, who are pushing envelopes, people who will challenge you, people who will call you on your BS, right? People who will actually make sure that the things that you're doing are beneficial. Now, it's always up to you to do at the end of the day the things that make sense for you. The other one is be happy where you're at in the pursuit of what you want. I think this is one of the things that I have found a lot more solace. With the lofty goals that I have, it is easy to be frustrated that I'm not there yet, right? It is extremely, I've spent a lot of time being frustrated that I'm not there. I'm not always all the way, out of it, but it is something that I have learned, and I just felt like it was important to share because it's easy to be so caught up on the things that we're chasing. Now I'm gonna flip this board around, and the people who come regularly, who've come a few times, it's gonna keep going off.
It's bothering me. I cannot concentrate.
So it's missing the top. missing the top piece that's on there that's gonna hold it, so as soon as I lean on it.
So now you know, don't lean
I
on it,
can't
because
lean
you're
on
gonna.
it. Got it. I can't lean on it. So one of the things that we've talked about is a lot of the ways that we can get into investing. So how can we get into investing? What kind of ways are there too? And so mostly we talk about a lot of the single family routes, and it's not like all encompassing list. There's a ton of ways. What I'm talking about, what we've been talking about, are some of the most common ways to get into real estate investing. What can we do?
A joint venture.
Joint venture. Joint venture. What is that?
That is when you would have another partner or multiple partners. You might not have the capital, but they have the capital, but I might have the knowledge and they have the capital. So we get together and that's a joint venture.
Okay. What else?
Take out equity on a current home, so that you can go ahead and purchase, I don't know.
That would be a bird. Is that a bird?
Not quite.
No, not
But burr is one. What's a burr?
buy a house and you take out equity. So it's whenever you buy a house and then you take out equity, you can buy another house with it after.
Is it 1031 exchange, is that what you mean?
Ashley, what's a burr?
It's when you buy a house, you renovate the house, you rent it out, then you refinance it, and then you repeat the process.
Mm-hmm. So you
So
buy
you
it and
can
you take
kind
out
of-
money, right?
But you're missing some steps between there.
So
Isn't
is
there
that the second R,
a,
that's the refinance?
The second R is to renovate it. You typically buy a flip property, but instead of flipping it, like where you buy it, you fix it up, you immediately sell it. Instead, you're buying it, you're fixing it up,
Gotcha.
and you're holding it.
buy, renovate, rent, refinance?
Yeah, you rent it out, and then you
And
refinance
then
it.
sometimes people say.
All the R's throw me off.
Yeah.
So what is burr good for?
It's good for investment, like for property holding.
It's good for holding property, but what else?
Continuous investment, I would say, hold on to the property, you refinance it, and then you purchase another one. But isn't there, you can only refinance once you've been there for what? Once you've had it for like a year?
No.
No?
No.
Isn't it 2 years?
No. So what you're talking about, typically a lot of them are 6 months, but there's no hard rules. This is one of the things I learned about real estate investing. There's a lot of like the rules that most people use and are kind of bound by, but there's not really a lot of hard rules. There's always an exception, but the general rule you're looking at is 6 months is kind of what but when you're doing a burr, it doesn't necessarily have to be that. I don't think that most of the burrs I've done have held them for 6 months. And so the benefit of a burr is I'm buying a project that it needs some improvement. I can force appreciation, right? So I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna renovate it, I'm going to rent it out, right? So I'm looking to this is something I'm really looking to hopefully cash flow, keep as a rental. I'm gonna refinance it. And so when I refinance it, the reason why I'm buying it, I may be buying, if I have the cash, I'm buying it with cash, but then I'm refinancing and pull my cash back out. Or if I'm buying it with hard money, right? I can buy with hard money. Do you know what hard money is?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what hard money? You know what hard money is. You know. Everybody knows what hard money is. So I can buy it with hard money, right, which is an expensive loan product, and then I can do whatever hard money has built into it, money for refinance and all this, for the renovations, all that stuff. Then when I refinance into a stable loan, then now I have something that's long-term. And now the idea is one of two things. Either because I forced appreciation, I have a high equity position that I'm keeping in there, or ideally I did it because I'm looking for cash flow. And so if I do it right, I'll get the both. Right? I have something that's cash flowing and I've got equity position in there. Now with a burr, sometimes you can even pull a profit. It's not a profit because you get taxed on it. But one of the properties that I did, I bought it for $145,000. I put about $25,000 worth of work into it. it was valued at 265, 270. So when I refinanced it, normally when I refinance my properties, I'll refinance them for whatever the balance is, and I'll keep it so that I can start to bring cash in. But this one, I needed to pay taxes, so I refinanced it. I did a cash out refinance. It raised my mortgage, but I was able to pull 70 grand out of that, and because it was a loan, I didn't have to pay taxes on it. And I still was able to put a tenant in there that covered the mortgage, right? So it's a good strategy for delaying the responsibility for taxes. It's a good strategy for forcing appreciation and acquire. And the reason why I like the Burr method, a lot of times when people say they want to get into real estate investing, they say, I want to flip a whole bunch of properties so I can have enough money to buy rentals. You don't have to. You could actually get rentals a lot sooner by following this process.
Those are the signs that we see out there, like I buy cheap homes, or sell me your fixer-upper.
Probably not.
No?
Nope. What are those? Those are wholesalers.
Ah, gotcha.
Those
That's
are
something else.
wholesalers. So what is a wholesaler, Des?
Hi, I'm a wholesaler. So I see a property that's distressed, I get it under contract, and I can turn around and I sell that contract to an investor.
So with a wholesaler, as a wholesaler, Nancy, I can say, hey, I want to give you $100,000 for your property. Will you take $100,000 for your property? Say yes.
Yes.
Yes, $100,000. So sign this contract. Okay, I agree that I'm going to buy this property for you. We're going to close in 45 days. Hey, Anthony, I got this property for $120,000 that when you put $30,000 into it, it's going to be worth $300,000.
Wow, that's awesome. I'll do that.
Sign this contract right here.
Okay.
So in that scenario,
Yeah.
I, as a wholesaler, because I connected you and Anthony, I made $20,000 for the connection, right? And so the biggest thing, the reason why, when Des was talking about earlier about a lot of people don't like wholesalers and da-da-da, is because there's a few things that wholesalers are known for. Sometimes they overvalue deals, right? They'll say, oh, it's worth $300,000. And Anthony will buy it. Maybe he's a first-time investor. He'll buy it, and it's not worth $100,000. It's in a floodplain. It's he thought it was Alamo Heights School District, and it's Northeast Independent School District. Right? That makes a difference, right? And so there's some things like that what people will do, wholesalers will do, that will make people say, oh, okay, now you guys are shady, right? So sometimes they'll say, oh, it's worth more. Sometimes they'll undervalue. Sometimes they'll hide information that's critical information and say, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with the foundation. The foundation is like jacked and they know it. Right? And so.
Wholesaler.
Wholesalers, good thing with the good ones I hear out there.
So, but the reality is, it is a good way to earn income, right? If I don't have the cash, so the reason why we're going through some of these don't require very much cash to get started in investing, right? And so as a wholesaler, the only money that I have in that scenario, the only money that I would have to bring is whatever earnest money and option money that you and I agree. And so a lot of times, if I know that you're not experienced in real estate, I'm not even put that much earnest money or option money in there. So it may not have very much skin in the game, but my responsibility, if as a good wholesaler, is to make sure that I really think that I can close, right? I don't want to just get you under contract and then just waste your time. My responsibility is to find either I've built up a good network, I know some people who can close, who are willing, who are looking in this area, and I'm communicating with them and I'm finding an end buyer. Now this is what I found. Wholesalers do have a role, right? A lot of times people think that wholesalers they're super sketchy and all this stuff, but I have seen wholesalers bring me properties that were on the MLS, which means I have MLS access. I could have gone, found the MLS property, negotiated the deal, done a lot of those things. I didn't. Somebody was able to bring me a property that I see on the MLS. They did the work, they negotiated a price, they did all the stuff, and they're bringing it to me, and I'm like, hey, that actually makes sense for me.
In that MLS, are you able to pull reports where it'll give you that information, like the property is like being sold for 100,000, it's a fixer-upper, and I already have some comparables in there that'll show that the houses in that area are actually selling for close to the low 200,000s?
Yes, so as an investor, I am going to, like as a end buyer, I'm going to look at those numbers and make sure, like, I don't just take, because you're wholesaling to me, I take your numbers for whatever, you know, for face value. I'm still gonna do my own research, and I'm gonna go look at my numbers so I can make sure that I have protection if I'm looking to move forward with that. But there's a lot of information available. Even as a non-licensed person, there's a lot of information available. But speaking of that, I had something that I printed out, but I forgot. But on that same space, a couple of the properties I've noticed that a lot of the properties that I'm seeing now are expired listings. Wholesalers are bringing me expired listings. People have put their houses on the market that they didn't sell, and so that person's frustrated. Maybe they're working with a bozo agent. Maybe they had an awful experience. Maybe there's something going on with the property, and a wholesaler is going to go find and connect with them, and they're able to get at a contract. Sometimes sellers have to go through the process. In this market, a lot of sellers feel like, oh, I think my house is worth $3 million, and your house is worth 20 bucks, right? And so sometimes people have to go through the process, and now once they've gone through that process, it was long, grueling, they took a bunch of kicks in the face, and this is now, I just ready to get rid of it. I may be ready for the appropriate conversation. I may be realistic for somebody. And the thing that I was gonna print out is, I looked at the last 6 months, and I looked specifically inside 1604, I believe. And in the last 6 months, inside 1604, I think I saw 1,800 expired listings.
That's why I'm asking if you're able to pull out specific reports, because there's so many homes for sale. How are you going to go, one by one and see which ones are revealed? Can you pull those specific reports?
What are you specifically asking?
Reports that will let you know how long the property has been listing, if it's way below market value.
So part of it is not going to be just looking at the price, right? So there's some signs when I'm looking at a property online and say, okay, I'm looking at my knowledge. Like there's a house that I've been dragging my feet on about putting an offer. It's in an area that I'm very familiar with, an area that I'm like, I like this area, I look at this area, and I know that they are not priced properly for this area. I know that they will probably not sell the house where they're at. This house is prime for me to give them an offer because I know where they should be at for the condition. And I think that also this house has a lot of potential. Like they could get what they were asking for if it had improvements to it. They could get a lot more than what they're asking for, but they haven't. Then the area, this particular area, it has this expectation for houses to sell, and so where they're at, they're in a weird lukewarm place. They're not going to sell right now, right? And so based on my knowledge of that area, and any investor who's looking, when they're looking at some of those things, they can look at that and put together that kind of information. There's nothing that says, hey, this is a deal, but by consistently looking at areas or taking that property that once I see this property that stands out to me because it has high days of market, it has lots of price adjustments, it's in an area that I like, it's got sometimes I may look at foreclosure information and see it's distressed. Like there's a lot of those kind of things that may lead me to be able to find the deal. Did I answer your question?
You did. I'm just wondering if there's a way to set up an application on it where you can feed it information that you're looking for, and it can give you that, especially with AI right now. Just really, God, I'm not very techie, but just kind of sprucing up the search engine to give you more detailed information that you're looking for.
Yes,
AI.
but before you go too far down that path, Ashley, what does Anthony recommend the best way for you to get deals?
Sphere of influence.
What does that mean?
What?
talk to the people that you know. You're more likely to find a good deal with your friends and family and their colleagues and your work colleagues than you are to find one by spending hours and hours and hours on the MLS. You can certainly do that, but you will have a better experience by just talking to everyone you know and letting them know, hey, I know real estate. Think of me when you think of real estate.
It almost sounds like you need to be a real estate agent.
Nope,
Not at all.
nope, that's not what I said.
Civilians can
Nope,
do this,
yes.
but especially when you're trying to do the research.
Nope, you're too far down the road.
I'm a
You're.
You're a wholesaler. You have access.
But she don't have access.
No, I don't.
Oh,
No,
you
she
don't
don't.
have access?
No,
No.
You
I'm
have
not.
to be a realtor to have
I
access
have
to
to
the
go
Yeah.
on
MLS.
websites. Actually.
Yeah. But so this is where, so we haven't gone into, there was more ways to get into investing. But the reason why I say that is right now, there's a ton of things to think, there's a lot of things to consider, and most people feel like I gotta know everything about everything before I get started. And the reality is, when you have something to work on, it has context, right? And so even though it feels uncomfortable especially for the personality types that like need to know everything and be prepared and be in control, it's a lot more advantageous to be able to just talk to people and say, hey, I'm looking for a deal, and they bring you a deal and say, okay, let me go get with somebody who knows what they're doing and walk through this, right? Like, I got some prompt questions that I can ask when somebody tells me they're ready for something, and then I can go through and look a little bit further, and then I can find out and I can actually explore the options. And that's the reason why we're talking about, because there's so many different ways that you can invest, but it really, when you have all these different tools in your tool belt, it's about having the right one for the situation, right? Perfect example, I reached out, I had somebody in my mind in my sphere of influence, and I just reached out and I said, hey, how are you? He said, I'm good, we had some small talk, and he said, I wish I had more people, he said, I wish I had more contractor friends. And I'm like, and I know, so his first house, I helped him buy, and it was we bought it in the height of COVID, it was a terrible time, they weren't planning to buy, they just found out that they had a baby on the way, and they said, oh, well, we're gonna buy a house. And so we bought something, and we knew that it was an opportunity to force appreciation. Like, they were getting it because it wasn't already jazzed out and sexy, they were getting value. And so he says, yeah, my houses. I said, houses? Wait a minute. I know I helped you buy your first house. What do you mean houses? You bought another house? And he said, my wife inherited a property. And that's her thing. Her and her brother are doing their thing with it. I can see my wife is super stressed out. I've been trying to give her advice on it. I don't know how to help her with this. And I said, hey, I help with that kind of stuff. And I know I can probably say the same thing that you've been saying to her, but it's just, I don't have that proximity, right? I don't have that familiarity. If I can help with anything, so I'm asking, so you guys have this house and it's just sitting and you guys aren't renting it? He said, no, we're not doing anything with it but paying on it. I'm like, oh, bro, I can help you. Like, let's sit down, we can make a plan. The next day, his wife texts me and says, I want to sell this house. So we went, I walked the property, and I was actually able to, and we are still having conversation because I want to make sure that for them, it's the option that makes the most sense for them. But what we ended up talking about was, Ashley, what's novation?
A beautiful thing. Novation is actually my first real estate deal that I ever did. Basically, if you have somebody who is trying to get as much money as they can, but their house is in disrepair, right? Obviously, you're not going to get top dollar for disrepair, right? You as an investor can bring an opportunity to them and say, hey, I would be willing to foot the bill to improve your property if, when we put it on the market, we get top dollar, we split the profits.
So it's a little bit,
It's crazy.
so what you really do is you say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is the offer that I can give you. You don't have to do anything else. I will take care of everything from here, right? In the scenarios, a lot of scenarios, that may include like, hey, we'll take over the mortgage payment. We'll just do whatever. We'll do improvements to it. We'll do whatever we need to do to get it ready and sold. What's the benefits of that?
Other than gratitude.
It feels really good when you're helping
does.
somebody like
For
that.
sure.
I can then.
They don't have to put any money in, and they're still getting top dollar.
So
it's
they're
kind
get-
of like you're doing all the work, and they're still getting the profit from it.
Right. So they're getting more than what they probably would be able to get if they were to sell it as is. Usually in that type of situation, you give yourself enough time, right? Because if I have to do improvements to the property, if I have to do whatever, whatever it may say, we're gonna say 4 months to take the contract, right? We're gonna pre-agree on the price that you're gonna sell the house for. So in that scenario, I say, Jaden, I will give you $160,000 for your house, and I will do improvements to it. I will sign this as power of attorney. I will negotiate contracts, pay commissions, any improvements that need to be done to the house, like win, lose, or draw. Like you'll get paid when I finish selling the house. But I will do all the other stuff to get it ready, and whatever I make, if I make a bunch, I make a bunch. If I don't make anything, you still get your 160, right? And so in that scenario, now, if I'm handy, all I'm supplying is labor, right? If I'm not handy, then I just have to pay, but I don't have to pay for financing, right? I don't have to get the expensive short-term financing options. I also get to sell FHA, right? Because it's still in the same, it hasn't changed title, so FHA can still close on it, right? And so the reason why I say that is if I were to buy a property right now, I have to wait 90 days before FHA will allow me to close that transaction. And having transfer title in that situation, we basically entered into a partnership arrangement, so we can still do that, which means that more buyers are in the pool. And it's a way to get into, so in this short period of time, the wife immediately, when we're having that conversation, I have a conversation with him Thursday. Friday, she texts me and says, hey, I want to sell the house. Saturday, I go meet with her, and she says, oh my God, I'm so relieved. I felt like all this stuff was hanging over my head, and right, but that type of option, you're not gonna find it on the MLS. Right? And so there's a lot of these different creative ways that you do things. You're not going to find a traditional, but you may be, because if that person trusts you, they may allow you to explore a lot of other different non-traditional options. So it gives you a lot more bandwidth, even if you don't have a bunch of money to get started. You can have if I don't have a bunch of money, can I find some people who would do contracting? Probably. Can I find some people that if the terms made enough sense, they would do the contracting and wait for me to pay them? Probably. Right? And so that gives me a lot of new options and that's the reason why I recommend going and talking to people you know and making sure that they know that you're looking for real estate. Because this is the other part. You would be so surprised how many people around you have distressed real estate that is a problem to them, and they don't know who to talk to.
So this contract that you're talking about, is this something that you go to a real estate, a title company, and you have them draw it up, or you just kind of depot it, print it out?
So yes and yes. Like you can go, if you're asking the proper way, my proper way, because it's recording, is always going to be go talk to a real estate attorney. But there's a lot of contracts out there. I have a contract that we've used for ours. I'm definitely willing to share it. It's nothing too complicated. It's not anything too much. It's a real basic contract. It doesn't take too much to do. But My official recommendation is yes, you can talk to a real estate attorney. But again, my whole point in that whole conversation is, yes, real estate deals exist in MLS. Now, there was supposed to be some homework. I'm wondering if any of the people who, I think that's why some of the people didn't show up today, because they knew I was going to ask about this homework. By the look of the faces of the people who were here last time, it doesn't look like the homework was done.
This is my first time here.
Shame.
So the homework was, because my intention is not just for people to come in here and stroke my ego and say, oh, you're so smart with all this information. My intention is for people to come stroke my ego and say, you're so smart, you helped me with making a whole bunch of money.
Makes sense to me.
Anthony, it sounds like, just dealing with sellers, is like a better idea, because they bring you the distressed, low budget, real estate property, and you can buy it for cheap, and then you just fix it up and,
Tell me more about that.
well,
So we have
because they do the legwork. They find, the houses that people are trying to get rid of that are distressed and probably selling for cheap, $100,000 home. You can probably fix it up and hopefully sell it for 180, 200. Is that what they do? Right?
No.
Check. Okay.
Yeah, the wholesaler, they do,
Yeah, they get a
but
commission.
this is the thing. Yeah, so the commission is not the problem,
Okay.
right? This is the thing. If you're working with wholesalers, you need to have wholesalers that you can trust.
I'm not trying to get finessed for sure.
Right. Right, Jaden?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
But then you have access to find out what the real value is. Go do a drive-by or.
Sure, there's information, there's some information, right? But tell me why it's better for somebody to go and give you a deal that they can't, there's only one way to buy it, right? The only way to deal with the wholesaler is to be able to have the cash or hard money.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so that's the little caveat there. You have to have cash,
Yes.
complete, the full amount.
Yes.
Gotcha. No refinancing, no nothing like that. I didn't know that. Okay.
We're supposed to be an easier route because it's all cash, we close fast, so that's why some people, they prefer to work with wholesalers versus realtors.
What they offer to the seller is a cash offer, right? When they say, hey, I'll get you a cash offer.
Yeah.
So that's why the whole thing is like, hey, you don't have the hoops and all the other stuff that you have. Like, we get a cash offer, we get you done.
We're convenient, that's why I tell people, I'm convenient, man. We're not gonna do any walkthroughs, I'm not a realtor. You don't have to renovate anything, we buy as is.
Well, yeah, but then you have to have all that cash. I guess that's where the joint venture comes in.
That would be a joint venture.
Wait, we didn't get through the rest of them.
Oh, sorry.
What else? What else we got? What other ways can we be getting into investing?
Bird dogging.
Bird dogging.
Get it out of my mouth. Okay.
What's bird dogging?
A bird dog is someone that goes out and they'll find properties for a wholesaler. I would give them, hey, if I can get this under contract, here's like $100. They might not know how to wholesale, they might not have investors, so they would do the bird dog, and then I would come in as a wholesaler, do the heavy lifting.
Well, Des is giving $100, I'm giving 1,000, so.
I was just saying it. I was just talking. I was talking about
So
the ginger.
this is going back to, right? And so you can say, just from creating, right? I'm creating the opportunities. I don't want to be an investor. I don't know everything about everything. I don't want to get into legal trouble. I don't have the bandwidth to learn about all that stuff. I'm not ready to risk it. I know that there's something there, but I don't want to learn it. But I can talk to people. Right? And so just because I'm having the conversations with people and I'm telling people, hey, if you got distressed real estate, or if I hear somebody, I can go in, have the conversation, make the connection, $1,000 when I can close it. Right? That's easy money for having a conversation. That's what bird dogging is. What's the value for bird dogging?
You can get a lot of properties quick if you have a lot of bird dogs.
Right. So the benefit is to an investor, a wholesaler, an end buyer, somebody who is utilizing that, like they're basically being able to connect with a lot of the people that you know, right? And so you're saying, hey, all I'm doing, I'm not doing all the stuff. Maybe I'm too busy. Maybe I don't have the bandwidth to learn. Whatever it is, I'm just saying, hey, give me your information. I may do some pre-qualification. I may ask a little bit about the situation so I can give a good handoff to whoever the person I'm working with is, and that person can take it and say, hey, yep, I can make something work. That's super easy.
As the bird dog, I would say it's a great way to get the reps into talking to people without all the pressure of being the end buyer.
Right. I think a lot of times that if you're trying to be the wholesaler, you're trying to be the end buyer, like especially while you're trying to navigate, sometimes it's uncomfortable having a conversation, or like I can see that there's money there and maybe I start to get commission breath, right? And my conversation ain't right. If I can just know, I'm just passing it on, I can still be in a place of, I can probably be in a pretty good place where I can just have the conversation, present the information. What is good about this time of year for investors? Why, taxes. Why are taxes good for investors right now?
I meant they're trying to like kind of front their tax bill. So I have an investor I'm talking to right now. She has a whole bunch of cash. She's like, oh, you're a realtor? Okay, I need to talk to you because I have all this cash and I don't want to pay taxes on all this money. So I need to use you to get into real estate investing so that my money's tied up, basically. So she doesn't have to pay.
So what he's talking about is, as an investor, right, because real estate is a good way to, I don't want to say evade taxes.
But evade taxes?
But evade taxes.
Pretty much.
Right, there's a lot of different maneuvers in real estate where you can put money in there and delay your tax responsibility. But the other part of that is why isn't it good for an investor that's looking to buy? Why is taxes good?
Would somebody be willing to take a better deal to get out of the money faster?
Tell me more about that.
Like, if you take a loss on a property, doesn't that count towards your taxes? So if
Did anybody own property? Did you get a tax bill in the mail and say you owe taxes? It's coming out this month. If you haven't gotten it, you're getting it. The tax bill comes out that says, this is what your tax bill is for the year.
Yeah, I got this.
So if
would
you,
it be because if you're selling a property, you want to include this past year's taxes, so that way you don't have to pay it?
well, this is the time for a lot of people. If I got grandma's house and we're keeping up with it, we're paying the mortgage, we're doing whatever, maybe we don't have a bill on it. And then I get a bill in the mail that says $8,000. Just a reminder how much I hate grandma's house that's vacant.
Oh, they want to sell it and get rid of it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to pay. This is October. A reminder says, hey, you have a bill that's due. You can pay it now, but it's really due. It's late in January. For these next few months, that's a reminder that I got to come up with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10,000, depending on what the property is, where the property is. I got to come up with a bill for this. For a house that's vacant, you could be solving somebody's problem and giving them Christmas money. Or if you're wanting the bird dog, you could be earning extra Christmas money. This is a really good time for that, specifically because it is a reminder. When those bills come out, people say, I hate this real estate. I wish I knew how to get rid of it. Right? And so that's where, if you're having those conversations with people around you, sometimes you're able to come up with new conversations. What other ways can we get into real estate investing?
Driving for dollars.
Okay. That's how we can find, yes, we can drive for dollars. What's driving for dollars?
Literally driving around looking for distressed properties that you can put offers on.
How do I drive for dollars?
You could drive, you could walk, you can jog. You're doing your daily jogs in the neighborhood. You'd be looking at houses that are less appealing than the rest of the neighborhood. You can go do that in the neighboring neighborhood.
What's my
right?
goal?
Looking for distressed properties that I can evaluate when I get home, and then determine if I'm going to put a deal on, like an offer on it.
Fun story. I knew somebody who got stuck in traffic and said, traffic sucks. Let me just get off and go to the neighborhood. Got off, drove to a neighborhood, said, you know, it's really interesting that that house, the mailbox is just busted open and their mail is getting wet. Who lives like that? Then they went and knocked on the door and somebody was living in the house with power off.
I thought you were gonna say they didn't live there.
No, they were living in the house with the power off. A deal was made.
So I take it they weren't squatters?
No, they were in a bad situation,
Yeah, I understand.
right? And so this is again how being a real estate investor, you can actually really make a difference in people's lives. What else can you do to invest?
Looking to foreclosures or properties owned by the city, the county, that they're trying to get rid of.
Foreclosures are hard.
Oh, yeah?
Foreclosures are hard. Everybody's go-to says, I'm gonna go foreclosures. The reason why foreclosures are hard is because most of the time when you're looking at foreclosures, a lot of times you're looking at somebody's primary residence. So you're trying to rip somebody out of the house in a bad situation. A lot of times those people don't have anywhere to go. A lot of times those people have mental health issues. A lot of times those people are waiting for something to miraculously happen to solve the problem. And so it takes time, care, nurturing, follow-up. There are deals there. I've helped some people, right? Going and chasing pre-foreclosures and helping people say, hey, before you let your house go in foreclosure, you can sell your house. But they are hard. They're hard if you actually care, especially. Like, if you don't care about, like, you go in there and just take advantage of people, right?
So is there any difference between like foreclosures and properties that the county owns because of a lot of taxes that are owed and they haven't been paid?
So those are different type of foreclosures. You're talking about, tax foreclosures. Those are, so you're talking about chasing those down?
Mm-hmm.
So that's all, like, I would say those are all in the distressed property umbrella, right? We're chasing foreclosures, you're chasing people in divorce situations, people who have absentee owners. Like, I own this property, I live in California, I moved away, I don't have anybody watching it, it's sitting there, it's decaying. People who have gotten in bad debt situations. Like, those are probably all in the distressed home umbrella. As far as the type of properties that you can definitely find some good deals. Like, everybody's got different strategies in there, but there's a lot of good deals in there. But I want to finish this with flips. What are flips? How do we do flips?
Find a distressed property, fix it up, sell it.
Make ugly houses pretty.
Make ugly houses pretty.
Yes.
What's our formula?
70% ARV minus renovations.
What's ARV?
After repair value.
70% of the after repair value minus the renovation costs. So most of the time when people are looking for numbers, if the house after it's fixed up is worth $100,000, I want to buy it for no more than $70,000. If it's going to cost me $20,000 to do improvements, I want to buy it for $50,000. I want to do $20,000 improvements. That's got me about a 30% margin to take care of commissions, cost of sales, surprises, profit, right? That gives me a good cushion to make sure that I can get out of the property safely. Some people, when they're looking at BRRRR, still look at those same numbers. I'm still looking at, that way I know I have equity in it, but then I also am looking at it for what it does on a monthly basis. What's subject to?
Same kind of like sublease, but like with a, not a lease.
So the title transfers to someone else, but the original owner still has it, has the loan in their name still. And so the new buyer is making payments on that loan.
So yes, I've never heard anybody compare it to subleasing, but it is like subleasing. So you are transferring title, but the original is subject to the original lender's financing. So it's still in the old person's name. I own a property right now that the seller wanted to sell the property. It was a poor investment from the beginning, and then he added solar panels. So he thought he was going to be here forever, only ended up being here for 2 years. And the property's on the east side, and not the gentrified east side. So we tried to sell it. It just didn't make sense. The market, nobody was looking. And he was trying to cover the additional money that he put in for the solar panels, right? He wanted to make sure that he could pay off the solar panels, but now you're trying to inflate the price, and people don't want to pay extra for what they think. Solar panels, by the way, my official stance on solar panels, do not buy solar panels unless you know for sure this is going to be for every home, which is hard to know. And then go and do your research and buy them. Don't buy them for somebody coming door knocking your house. But now I have title, I have ownership. The loan is still in his name. If I stop making the payments, he gets negative marks on his credit report. So the benefit is ease, like, hey, somebody else has a responsibility. You can wash my hands, be done, somebody else has a responsibility now. The drawback is, and I also could be, right, if he was in a distressed situation before, I'm making the payments on time, it's now affecting his credit positively. He's getting that positive information showing up consistently because we're making the payments on it. And so if you're going to be a subject to buyer, I'd say be responsible. There's some risk with that. As the bank can call it no due. The bank can say, hey, we don't like the fact that you transfer the title. You got 30 days to fix that, right? And so there's ways of starting with the end in mind and make sure that you have a way to get out of it. One of the things that I've been having a little bit more conversation, we haven't been talking about it too much in this class, but I am seeing some really good opportunities right now. Multifamily. There's a lot of good opportunities. There's a lot of good opportunities in multifamily right now.
So we're talking duplex?
Yep.
or
2
what?
plus.
Where?
Everywhere.
All the ones I see, they're all run down.
That doesn't mean, well, so as an investor, what do we look at? We look at the numbers.
Okay, yes, but like a lot of them, they're like tear downs and they want too much for them.
I literally saw 20. I looked at the MLS. I saw 20 that looked like they make good sense.
Okay, if you say so. The ones I've looked at, they'll tell you one thing, but once you get there, they're just tear downs. Okay. So where? Was it around? I know it's not around Lackland because I was looking at Lackland. Those are all.
You love Lackland.
I do.
We can go out offline, but there's been quite a bit. There's been quite a bit. I didn't see any in Converse. I saw some in Sabine. I saw some on the south side. I saw some. Did I see it in Converse? Converse, everybody wants too much.
I didn't like Converse.
I sold one over there. That's the only reason why I'm asking.
Yeah, I didn't like Converse so much.
So
Um,
up to a point, though, you would need to have like your own property manager, like to handle, like if you have more than 3 or 4 homes, I mean, don't you wanna have your own property? Or have a Sylvia? Right? I mean,
you just need good systems. And you'd be surprised at how much you can manage with good systems. If you have good systems and you're intentional about trying to get good quality tenants in there, it's a lot easier than you think. How many do we manage right now?
Um,
guesstimate.
11? 11?
that we manage 11?
Well,
No, I'd say about 7, 8.
8.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't take very much time.
No, it really doesn't. Like
Just
we have,
finding good renters.
we
I
have
think
really
that's the
good
part that-
tenants.
Okay.
But it's, again, it's systems, right? So it's starting, like everything kind of leads into the next thing, right? If you put a house in the market that's just like whatever, I may not be able to attract the good tenants, right? Because the good tenants want a good house.
Yeah.
So I have to start with, and that's why when I do my BRRRR, I try to make my houses look really pretty, even if I'm keeping it as a rental, right? And so I can get my nice tenants, I make my nice house, be proactive about the work that we're putting into it, get good tenants. And when I get good tenants, everything's already a lot easier, right? When I get problem tenants, then yes, I just need somebody to cover the mortgage. That's sometimes challenging. But I had one of my tenants in the height of COVID, had no idea. She hadn't been working for 6 months. She had gotten laid off. I'm getting ready to have a conversation about raising the rent, and that's when I find out. I'm like, oh, I don't think that I'll raise the rent. Right now, you're paying on time and not having any issues, and
And it's also like setting them up, right? Their expectations, what it is that, how they should do certain things like maintenance requests, paying the rent. If all that is set up, they follow it, it becomes an easy process.
Right. The biggest part, a lot of times people are afraid to have the uncomfortable conversations up front, or they just like throw it out there and like, oh, you should know. No, we have the conversation, here's our expectation, here's how things work, here's what we do. And of course, everybody, a lot of times people want to test and figure out where their boundaries are. And when they figure out pretty quickly where the boundaries are.
So when you first started doing this, and I believe a lot of y'all are also investors, did y'all do your own work? Like fixing up the property? That's funny. Or did you bring in some handymen or a construction company, a contractor company?
I haven't invested in real estate, but I owned a barbershop before I was a realtor. And so one of my friends, he's a contractor. And so he was like, hey bro, if you're in here and you do all the work for me, I'll just charge you for materials. I said, sign me up.
Oh, yeah.
Say no more.
I think it's the question is, I think everybody, like, if you just don't have money like that, especially, right? I think the natural thing is, I want to know. I want to be in there. I want to know how things work anyways. But I think most people just kind of get into it and do what I can myself.
Yeah.
Right? And then I get to the point where maybe I'm limited on bandwidth, or maybe now I have the cash, maybe I can leverage some of that stuff off, and then I do. Right? The first major project I had, after I'm working all day, I'm in there scraping this 2-story house, the popcorn, because I'm like, I'm not paying nobody to scrape popcorn. After I did that, I said,
I'll pay someone
I'm not ever doing that again.
every time.
I was trying to do that because my property had that popcorn in Tucson, but it was made in 1973, so it had asbestos. So they're like, nope, you can't do that. I'm like, oh, come on, you just have to go scrape it off and then repaint it, and they're like, nope. I'm like, what is, anyway, so you have to file something, I don't know, you have to tent it up. They were talking about all kinds of stuff that you need to do to protect the people around from the
It's a
asbestos.
process.
What a pain. So do you all have your people now?
Yes. So one of the things that I try to do is be intentional is like we try to build, especially in like with what we're doing, we try to have some reliable people that we can share with people that we know that they're not going to be ridiculous, that they know how to take care of business, and they let me hold them to the standard. So you don't have to worry about that specifically. So
more important, can we borrow it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Cool.
So this is the point, this is the part of the challenge where, you know, we're coming to the class and I recognize something with the class, right? I'm saying, hey, there gets a point, there's a limit to what I can teach if it doesn't have practical application, right? If you're like, I can sit in here and I can talk about all the stuff and how everything works, but the reason why, and so the homework was supposed to be, for the people who showed up, is having one intentional, purposeful conversation a day with people in their SOI. Because I want, what I'm looking for is people to see the results of what I'm describing, right? Everybody says, I don't really have that many people in SOI. So we actually put together a sheet that says, here's a thought starter, 100 people that you should think about, go through, write down, here's some people in your SOI that you may, did you print that one too? I don't think we printed that
No,
one.
I didn't print that one,
No.
but I can email that one.
But
What is
it's
SOI?
sphere of influence. These are people that you know, if you see them in HEB, you talk to them. This could be your cosmopolitan.
Not that time.
It could be a cosmetologist, it could be a place of worship,
Okay.
it could be the PTA, it could be clients that have worked with you, like just people that you deal with in your normal basis, people that you talk to. It's just intentionally going through and saying, hey, if you know anybody who has any of these things, send them to me. I'm interested in looking. I've got somebody that can help solve the problem. These are the things that we're trying to help with. And so the assignment was to go through and just say, just the next 30 days, have 30 intentional conversations, just to see what kind of results. I had a handful of conversations and ended up with business, right? Ended up with good, solid lead conversations, because I'm telling you, there are a lot of people around you who have distressed situations that could really use your help. And so, but there's a certain point to where I can teach more in depth when there's actually like something that makes it make sense, right? Jaden flipped a coin and bought a house. I don't know, something like that. I'm just
Can we ask her about that house?
Sure.
Okay, spill it, sister.
Oh, God.
Why was it a good deal?
Well, okay, so first of all, which one? Because I've done it twice.
Talk about it.
But this latest one,
No, the latest one.
Huh?
Which one are you talking about?
the Green Spring one.
No, that wasn't flipping a coin. That was an informed decision.
Okay,
We're
I
talking
thought
about-
so. Well, okay, so the last one. Okay, so this one, I kind of had the opposite effect of what Anthony's talking about, where I had like too much action, not enough thinking type thing. So this one, I bought this house, it was in 5 minutes from Medina Lake. It was really nicely renovated. It was brought to me by a wholesaler. And I thought, like, okay, it's in like an area next to like a vacation area, I don't know, whatever, it's really nice, it's everything seems to work fine, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I come to find out that I had no idea about city utilities, well services, which didn't work. It was claimed to be dry, but it wasn't, it was just broken. Anyway, there's also a drought in the lake, so even if I get the well running, it's still no water to whatever. Anyway, so long story short, I held on to the house for 1 year. We barely sold it this past month, a few weeks ago. Anthony's my realtor, by the way.
Congratulations. Good day.
Thanks.
12 months is a long time.
It was.
I didn't have it for 12 months, by the way.
I did not have it for 12 months. I had another real estate agent recommended to me by somebody who I owed a favor, which was my first mistake too. So I took the realtor on, and for 6 months, not one offer. The square footage was wrong on MLS. He never fixed it even when I told him about it. It was just a big old mess. Anyway, so a friend referred me to Anthony. Anthony took it over. I think we did some more renovations to it. We changed it to be a little bit more charming. And staged it, which my other realtor told me, advised me against staging. Yeah, right? So, we did that. And then I think it was within, 2 weeks of listing,
Yeah.
we had an offer.
Oh,
And,
where'd you go?
yeah, that one crashed and burned anyway, because the buyer's agent
Was a
was
bozo.
lovely to work with her, and
So he can make a profit, he said, no.
So hold on to the house for 10.
No, she
12
was
months.
using hard money. So hard
Yeah.
money is an expensive loan product. So, yeah.
Money for 12
I'm sorry,
months.
but I would never buy a house in Medina. I actually got my sister-in-law that lives there, and the wells have always been issues. Hers actually had like a bunch of sulfur, and oh my God, it's horrible.
So I can see the reason why it would be enticing, because what was sold to her is like a house that looked like it was already done, right? And so it was like, hey, I can make money on a house, it's already done, I don't have to do very much to it, in an area that's up and coming. And I think there's a lot of like, a lot of times people have conversations about like speculative, right? Oh, when the lake comes back, this is gonna be the next Spurs, blah, 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 like those kind of things, right? This is the next Pearl. A lot of would-be investors lose money because they're buying on potential and not looking at what is actually, like, what are the numbers, what's all the meat and potatoes, doing all the information, right? One of the things about the property that she's talking about, it is like, she went from 0 to 1,000, right? Because there's a lot of things that you don't have to normally think about when you're looking at a house in the city. You don't have to worry about the well. You don't have to worry about well agreements. You don't have to worry about like septic, right? There's a lot of other things that these are all additional next level, but I guarantee you she has a lot of experience now that she's going to be a lot more prepared because she took the action. And so I don't think she lost. I think there was definitely a lesson. Well, I think it's like, I learned.
Financially, yes, not total, but I did lose. However, it was an expensive lesson, but I don't think I could have learned any of that not doing it. Like
Right.
I made lots of notes along the way, so I did gain a lot of knowledge, but yeah, for sure, it gave me a way different perspective on due diligence.
Does anybody know what this is?
It goes in the ground.
It goes in the ground. What does it
Oh,
do?
it aerates the ground.
It measures.
It does not aerate the ground.
Oh,
Does it measure something?
It does not measure anything.
You use it to find something.
You use it to find something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
gold?
What?
It's like a nail punch.
Is that a metal detector?
Stand-up weeder.
Oh.
Stand up weed eater.
Oh, what?
Look at your faces right now.
I would
You
have
put
never
it in
got
and then you
that.
twist
I
it?
got an electric one.
Weed eater?
Huh?
You said weed eater?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or weeder. Sorry, weeder.
Oh,
Weeder.
Weeder.
Oh,
Okay.
weeder,
It's like-
okay.
Yeah.
I was
Like-
like, weed eater.
What does it do?
Oh, it rips
It gets
the weeds out of the ground.
ground.
Your faces at first was like, what the heck? This is like the stupidest thing. When I first saw this, I was like, what the heck? This is stupid. Like, what is this? I read it, and I said, stand up weeder. That's dumb. And then I thought about it, and I realized, oh my God, I am so excited about this thing. And I'm not lying to you. I was so excited. I was in my yard having the time of my life with this thing.
My mother would love that.
The reason why I was having the time of my life is because earlier this year, I said, I'm going to make my yard look great. I started doing all this stuff, and I started trying to pull weeds. And I started pulling weeds with my hands. And those real tough weeds, I could not, they were kicking, I'm on the ground, I'm pulling, using all my strength, getting the shovel. And I'm like, this is stupid. those weeds in my yard. I said, y'all can have this. I saw this thing, and once I realized what it was, I said, oh my God, because I had been through the experience of pulling those weeds with my hand, this gave me so much joy, finally getting those weeds that I couldn't get, right? And so what you do is you just put it in there, step on it, get some leverage, pop those weeds, it popped out. I mean, I looked like a kid in the candy store going through with this. This is stupid, but the thing is, to somebody that had not gone through the process of doing it, this wouldn't be a useful tool, right? And so the same thing, that's the point that I'm trying to make. This would have no value without the actual, like, going through it, right? Me going through and failing, when I saw this, it had a lot more value. There may be things that are around you right now that have value, but you don't see because people are afraid to go out there and fail, right? Go out there and make the mistakes, go out there and I feel like I gotta know everything about everything before I get started. And so then I don't recognize the opportunities that are close to me. How's the economy?
Sucks.
How's the economy? How's the economy?
It's going through it.
It's a buyer's world right now.
Ashley's face is turning red. Why is her face turning red?
I hear Jim Rohn saying about the same it was last year.
Well, I was gonna say, how's the economy if you're Jeff Bezos?
Great.
It's always good.
I tell people that all the time. The economy don't really matter. Not that it doesn't matter, but like, for me at least, I can't speak for everybody, but like, I just gotta make more money. Like, I just gotta put in more work and I'll be fine.
I think the thing is, right now, like, it's easy to get caught up in, like, is the economy less than ideal? Maybe. Are there opportunities? Absolutely. Right? The ultra wealthy are getting ultra wealthier. That means there's opportunities out there.
Yeah.
That means they're looking and they're finding and they're seeing the opportunities. And so we can get caught up into what everybody else is saying, like, yes, the economy sucks, or we can learn to recognize opportunities. Does that make sense? One of the biggest opportunities right now, I'm telling you, this is a good time to start talking to your friends and family because people have real estate that they don't want. And if you can go and have direct conversations with them, there's so many creative ways, right? The subject 2 that I was talking about, and the scenario that I was talking about, I gave him some money to take over the payments. A lot of times, people don't even want money to take over payments. I actually had lunch last month with some high school friends. We're having a conversation, and I say, this is what I'm doing. I want to be intentional. I'm paying $1,000. And they said, oh, she didn't even care about the $1,000. Hey, so you have, you can help? Yes, I got a coworker. Okay. The coworker, I reached out, she's like the coworker's mom. I've been having a conversation with the coworker's mom. She said, I am literally, my daughter literally is willing to, she just wants somebody to take over payments. And like, she said, she just wants to get out of it. And so I look at it, there's some foundation. It doesn't scare me. We're going through the process, right? I ask her some more questions and I say, hey, it looks like based on the scenario, subject 2 is probably, this is what it is, there's some pros and cons, we talk about it, and she's like, I mean, that sounds like something that works. She doesn't want to make any money. You can become a property owner just because you're doing the work.
So you were able to do the subject 2 with her?
We're having conversations, right? I still have to make sure that it makes sense for me, right? Because knowing that going into it's got some foundation works, I want to make sure that I have a high responsibility. If I'm saying I'm going to do it, I don't want to get into it and then not make the payments, right? And so I'm making sure that the rents make sense, what my strategy is going to make sense, how much additional work, because of this situation, I am going to have to put some money into that part of it. So I want to make sure that that makes sense. But as far as this is not an isolated opportunity, right? When I first started, I was actually going and chasing foreclosures. I was going saying, get the foreclosure list. A lot of people don't know that they can sell. I'm going through, I meet a lady, and she says, me and my daughter are on this mortgage together. I owe $78,000 in this house, and I would prefer, she said, that was the first time I heard subject 2. I'm like, why would you let somebody keep the loan in your name? She's like, I don't care about my credit. I don't want my daughter's credit to be trashed. And so I get an investor. I find an investor. I tell him the whole deal. He offers her $80,000. She said she wants to be out of it. And I'm like, I was kind of surprised. I was a little bit naive, but he offered her $80,000. I thought he could have offered her a little bit more. She took the subject to offer because they were willing to pay for her to move. That was all that, I think that was all that she took. Maybe they paid her, I think they might have paid her first month's rent for the apartment. They were to get that property, and I know they got it because I actually, when things circled back around, ended up having a buyer who was looking at buying it from the person who ended up doing the subject to. But there's a lot of creative options that exist when you have the conversations, when you actually do the work. And so that's why the homework, I'm gonna reissue the homework of having the 30 conversations with people in this. But also the people who did it. We did some of the previous classes, we kind of put together some exercises just to kind of think through, like the whole point of it is, these are things that I created to kind of think through like how to problem solve deals, right? And so these are really to get your mind going and saying, okay, how would I solve these, right? And so not having a lot of real estate experience, it may be a little more challenging, right? But the whole point is to think through to the next level. That's all I got until you guys actually start going to go find some opportunities. Now, this is the other thing that I wanted to point out, because a lot of times when we talk about all the different ways to get into investing, a lot of things to do, I recognize one of the things that I did not do is I had not been intentional to say my recommendation. So I like, probably have ADHD, so I like having lots of options to kind of go through. That's the kind of way that I've kind of presented. But realistically, for a lot of people, if I look at all these things and say all these things that I want to be able to do and use all of them, it's not practical. So my recommendation is saying, which one or two on this list? Oh, you know what I also don't have on here? For some people, being a private money lender is another way to make money with real estate.
What's the difference between that and a joint venture?
So in a joint venture, this is just a partnership. A private money lender says, I'm lending the money, I don't want to do any work. I'm just the money person. I may be loaning money for a specific interest rate and pay me either monthly or pay me when the project's done. And so a lot of people, and so the whole point is, these people are also around you.
Hard money lenders?
Private money lenders. So private money lender is going to be somebody like, you may have somebody who's an engineer, who saves a whole bunch of money, doesn't know how to invest it, scared to invest it into like the market and some of those other things, but they would say, I would invest it into real estate. If you tell me I can make 8%, 10%, I would be interested in investing for that purpose, right? And so there may be people that you know in your SOI that have money that would be willing to help with some of the other portions of the things.
That would be more for like flipping a house, right?
Could be.
Private money lender.
But you
not
could
to
be,
rent it out or.
it depends. It depends on the terms. It depends because depending on what they're willing to, they may say, I'll lend you the money for 20 years, right? They may say, I'll lend you the money for 2 years, right? And so or a year, right? Realistically, maybe 6 months or a year, right? They lend you the money for the year. I can use it, put it in a rental. If it's the right type of rental, I can make the rental pull cash out and have the money to repay them. There's a lot of different options. But a lot of people wouldn't mind they say, hey, doing all that real estate stuff, that looks too much for me, but I got some cash that I can lend out.
Nice.
But-
Hard money lenders, like how high are we talking, like interest rate?
Usually between 10 and 13%.
Oh. Have you, I take it you all have worked with hard money lenders?
Yes.
How long do they lend you the money for?
Usually 6 months. And then sometimes they have extensions, 6 months or a year. And then they'll have if they do a 6 months, sometimes they have an extension fee to extend it for longer. But there's a lot. So so especially if you're inexperienced. When you're experienced, real estate can get a lot cheaper, right? And so even if we're talking about joint ventures, sometimes it makes sense to partner with somebody. You may have a deal, right? You find a deal, I'm an experienced investor, I can get cheaper money than you can. Because people can say, I can see his track record of success.
How do you get cheaper money?
Do more work, or find more investors, find more private money lenders, or once you get more reps in, like once you've done 5 deals and people say, okay, you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go back and make sure that I'm clear. I don't think that everybody should try to do everything. I think that for most people, it should be picking 1 or 2, and this is the area that I'm going to specialize or focus on. And so it may be I'm bird dogging for now, right? I'm just having the conversations and I'm passing them off. Anthony will pay me $1,000, I'll do that. It may be I feel like I'm going to be more comfortable with wholesaling. I'm going to start learning the contracts. I'm going to be comfortable with the contracts, and I can have the conversation and I can sell it out. For a lot of people, something like a bird I may not be ready for. But a flip is a lot easier when you're using something like hard money. It's a lot easier to get into than you think, especially if you find the right deal. This is the other thing I always say. If you find the right deal, somebody's got money. The biggest hard part that people have when I'm telling them go out and have the conversation, okay, what if I actually get the success? Right? What if I go talk to somebody and say, yes, I want to sell the house. I don't actually have the money to buy it. Yeah. If you find the deal and the deal makes sense, number one, you're clear, right? I'm buying specific properties. It's got to make sense for the properties I'm looking for. If the deal makes sense, somebody has money. There are a lot of different ways to get money. Somebody's got money for a deal that makes sense. If it falls into that 70% minus the construction cost, absolutely somebody's got money. If there's a high enough profit margin, somebody's got money. It doesn't even matter if you're talking about 2 million, 5 million, somebody's got money.
How do you get a hold of hard money lenders?
Pick up your phone and search
Can you
hard money
Google it?
lenders. Yes.
Hard money lenders are.
There are a dime a dozen. There are so many.
There's a lot.
I'm sorry. It probably sounds like a stupid question, but I really don't know.
No, it doesn't. I mean, that's why you're coming to the class. But I do want somebody to go in there real quick before we leave. Go in there, ChatGPT. Somebody go and search for the law of diminishing intent and tell me what it says.
What's the law of diminishing intent?
Do you work with...
Hold on.
The law of diminishing intent says that the longer you wait to take action on an idea or intention, the less likely it is that you're ever to do it. Basically, motivation decays with time.
Motivation decays with time.
Sure.
And this is the reason why I don't want people to just keep coming to class and keep coming to class, because there's always starts to be and I can see that your interest is piqued and you definitely seem like you want to know everything about everything. Usually it's people who have a lot of control, who run a lot of things, and also people who like to be, I have a lot of responsibilities, I want to make sure I don't mess it up. I guarantee you, as a person who likes to know everything about everything, my recommendation is get out there before you know everything, because you will never know everything about it. And it's really learning how to roll with the punches. There's enough, right? If you have enough conversations, you'll start to learn how to navigate. And one of the things I talked about in one of the previous classes is batting averages, right? I mean, anybody familiar with batting averages knows that if you're batting 300, that's amazing. What does 300 mean? That means I'm hitting, batting 300, I'm 3 out of 10. I'm hitting the ball 3 times. Those people make $10 million a year. If we looked at our normal numbers, right, we say 30% is failure. But those ones that connect, right, they're getting enough.
No, I'm saying it's to the moon.
Oh yeah.
like how I told you, I'm selling 2 properties right now, and they both need renovations, and one we did ourselves, and the other one we're gonna have to pay like a handyman and a pool guy, and I feel like I need to wait until they sell, get them out of my credit report, get rid of some things, and then I can go and start doing something like this.
Why does that stop you from doing this?
Really, the hard money lender I was talking to yesterday, they didn't even need to check my credit. But if you have great credit, then they offer you low return. So.
Wait, I just want to break up what you're thinking.
I don't know enough to do that bird dogging.
Why? What does this require?
Well, knowing a lot of people and asking a lot of questions.
It doesn't
and
require knowing a lot of people.
Connecting them.
All it is systematically having the conversations.
I just came from the bar, and I got a deal before I got here. To talk with him to do that. So like, I'll go sit at the bar and tell them I'm a real estate agent, or I'm looking to get into real estate investing. Oh man, me too. Actually, my cousin, she is trying to sell her house and live, and then we just start talking. And that's
Systematically having a conversation. If you just make it a routine, that's why that homework assignment just says one person. Now, if it hurts badly enough, if I'm motivated enough, I can make it 2 or 3. But if I'm having one intentional conversation a day, you'll start to notice your track record of success, right? But you also start to notice how to improve your conversations.
True.
Right? And so by you just having a conversation, I leave here, I stop by the gas station, I go have a conversation with the person at the gas station I see all the time. I just say, hey, you know what, I realized I never told you that I'm interested in real estate. If you know anybody who's got distressed situations, and I just see you, we have the conversation, we have whatever it is, right? I'm just doing the work. I'm not qualifying, I'm not saying that person doesn't look like they have, because I don't look like I have the real estate that I have, right? And so we're not qualifying them. Right, Adez? I don't look like I have the. So what she didn't tell us.
Every class.
What she didn't tell us.
Every class.
When we were at the, when I met her at the auction, I see she's out there and she's talking to people and they're shooting her down. Right, they're not taking her seriously.
And I'm still going.
And so I'm saying, hey, I'm an investor, and she was like, whatever.
Do you think he was trying to pick you up?
I thought he was friends with someone that I didn't like, so that's why I didn't want to talk to him.
And was he dressed like that?
He had a cool shirt on. I was going to ask you, what does your shirt say? You always have cool shirts on.
What does this one say? Oh,
Out here playing Monopoly. And that day you had a cool shirt on too. You always have the cool shirts on. I just want to say that. Okay, yes, go ahead with the story.
But it didn't
Honestly,
impress her.
It's because every day I'll wear a shirt that says, I have one that says, this is what your realtor looks like. Or it's the Friends logo that says, your realtor, I'll be there for you. And it always starts a conversation. And it's great. It's the best. And I don't even have to talk to people.
So she didn't give you the time of day.
No. But tell me why, yes, you're selling those 2 properties. Yes, you got those things going. But this doesn't require you any extra time. This doesn't require any extra money from you. And has the potential to create a situation to do a lot of these other things. And I assure you, in a lot of situations, ask Ashley, right? From doing the work, there's very few times, because now when she does something and she reports back and says, I did this, blah, 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 I'm able to go and say, here's something I see. Here's additional whatever, right? And so just from saying this, somebody coming in and saying, here's the deal, I don't want to make any money, cool. If I know that you're in the space, I'm still going to start educating you on some of the stuff in the process.
I do hear what you're saying. I definitely understand that, because it's going to take a while for me to get the verbiage in there and just kind of fumbling through it and then talking, and eventually you'll get the hang of it.
Yep, but it's not even that deep. But that's the reason why it's the people that you know, right? If it's a stranger, there's pressure. If it's the people that you already know, you deal with all the time, I'm looking for real estate. What kind? Oh shoot, I don't know. What kind of? Hey Anthony, what kind of real estate am I looking for? Right? And so then, as you're starting to build that, then you start to be a lot more comfortable, right? And you can ask Ashley. It may not be a straight answer. I may be here's where you can go look it up. Tell me what you come back with, right? Because that's part of that. Probably becomes part of the learning, right?
Are most of the properties that you look for like in San Antonio or the immediate surrounding areas?
Me specifically, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I wouldn't qualify. All right, now it's just about the reps. It's just about having a conversation. Like if they say they have property in Timbuktu, let's just see. Is there anything we can do with it? Like, oh, I got a cousin, right? Worst case scenario, we can find a realtor out there that may be able to do something with it, right? Worst case scenario, you talk to somebody and they say, no, I want $600,000. Well, I'm not buying your house for $600,000, but I can connect you with a realtor, right? They can help you sell it. And I really believe in what you do. Some things are going to be transferable. Some of the things that you do in this space will probably also transfer back into what you're already doing as you're building the reps and having a conversation. It's going to transfer back into that space as well.
What do you mean by that?
Let me wrap it up so everybody can go. We have a conversation.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Sorry, I have to meet my baby, but.
It was nice meeting you.
Nice to
friend.
meet you too. Yes. I'll have an intentional conversation with you tomorrow, girl.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Well, I want your card now too.